Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and thanks for stopping by. Our dedicated team will guide you through with the latest updates and theories at Starbase, Texas. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon for future streams.
9, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
Welcome to Starbase Weekly, episode 190. My name's Stephanie B. I welcome you all to the live stream. Today we have Alex with us. G'day, Alex.
Hey, all. Ready to go.
And we've got Josh with us again. G'day, Josh.
Hello.
Okay, let's get started over here at Massey's, shall we? Just quickly, while we're at the front here for a change, let's just go over the road for a second. Quickly, we can see that they concreted all the way on both sides to the bend, and now they've got the concrete on the next section laid. So probably another one section to go. I think they're still doing some services further along here. Looks like they still have a trench open, or they're just filling a trench in here in the middle of the road. Bit hard to tell if that's an open or closed trench, to be honest. But they're about here in the actual trench. That looks like open trench there for sure. Okay, we'll go over to the flame trench first. Flame. We have a horse called Flame. Now, let's see which one of these awesome photos should we start with. We'll start here. Okay, so a bit of development this week with the hydraulics. We can see 3 horizontally mounted actuators here and a cable attached to each side of each one. And I'm guessing it'll be like a floating ram in the center where the ram will be able to move left and right slightly, and so they can pull evenly on each side here. And the pulleys here to redirect the cables out to up on here. It's mentioned somewhere that's flap test actuator. What was the words exactly, Alex?
It's ship flap actuator. It's on the silver control box.
Yeah.
Actuators.
So we're
Rams.
say it again.
Actuators.
Actuators, yeah, actuators, rams. In Australia, it's kind of interchangeable. Well, I'm going to call them actuators to keep people happy. So we can see a little shelf, a little couple of bars here. They got them all three. The bottom ones aren't very apparent. So it looks like the actuators will be sat over this side here, and they'll be able to slide left and right just a little bit of their own accord as needed. So from that, we can extrapolate they're going to do some kind of flap testing on this new version, whether they've got some kind of new mechanism or new hinges or what have you. So was that you, Alex, trying to say something, or somebody hot micing?
I think it's somebody hot marking.
Oh, cool. I'll keep an eye on that. Oh, it's Mauricio. Can I server mute the boss?
He muted himself.
I would have. All right. I was going to, but nervously. Okay, so that's set of hydraulics, which is an interesting development. So we're fairly sure there's some kind of flap test going on.
They could push pull with a pair of them as well. And if you lock one end, you could just exercise one of the flaps.
On a cable, you could pull, yeah?
Well, you can pull, but yeah, you could have both of them pulling, and if you're mounted on either side of a pivot point, sort of like aircraft cable controls to their surfaces.
Yeah,
Should be right in your wheelhouse, Steph, with bell cranks and all that other good stuff.
Yeah, mostly on a model aircraft they're straight linkages, but the rudder on these bigger airplanes I fly, the rudder is generally a pull system, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just bringing it up because it gives you a lot more controls than at first would appear.
Yep. And moving down a bit, so that's the flap system. That's an interesting little test. So that could be to do with perhaps they've trying to make the ship lighter. I'm fairly sure that's part of their plan moving forward, is to get the tear weight of the vehicle down a bit.
Well, HLS will probably require an exceptional amount of structural validations for its human rated.
Yeah, absolutely.
HLS doesn't have flaps though, so not sure how much. So the stand, they'd have to probably modify the stand if they want to use it for that.
Yeah, I mean, but that's just one of the multitude of things that will probably need a full size structure, as well as the like the tanker and depot attachment points.
I think you're relating there to the fact that this whole stand as a whole is more about testing the whole vehicle rather than just like individual. This test can test it in its entirety as a configuration.
Right. And
so the next level down is the squeeze test. That's as it is. It's already configured for a few tests at the moment. And yeah, you're right, Josh. In the future, I expect to see this changed a bit for even further testing moving forward, especially for things like HLS. Now, the squeeze test area, we can. This had me tricked for a second, but we can see this triangle frame here appears to be installed, especially to, for now, hold the squeeze arms back with these chain blocks, and there's a little person cage here, so they can be here to manually control these chain blocks. And they'll swing in under gravity till they get right close to the vehicle, and then they'll attach a cable between these two, between that actuator and this frame, and then between this actuator and this frame, much like they did with the before. We've seen this before with one of the booster. I'll just bring that photo up here. With one of the booster test articles. This one here, we've seen this before. This is it's here. It's got a watermark here. This is from Sean Geisler. So much the same. It's just the other way around. That one's on the other side this time with the actuator attached, but much the same thing. And the slings are a tiny bit different, but doesn't make a difference.
It adds a little bit of. You're going to need the side mounts that are next to that basket as constraints. Since it's only suspended from one point, it could rotate around the vehicle. So, yeah, those lower chain blocks to that basket are also going to have to be utilized to help stabilize that during most of the operations.
Yep, I get you. Yep, so it creates a triangle here to keep things straight.
Yeah, I'm just going to call that the porch swing from now on.
So what's the porch swing? Yeah, okay, it does look like one of those porch swings for sure, yep. Rather enlarged, but yeah, sure, a porch swing for giants.
Yeah, bring
Now,
you and 20 of your friends in. Terror.
the party swing. They've mounted, I think there was this here last week, wasn't it? But we didn't really get a good view of it last week, but the platform here.
Well, it's nice because with it mounted, it looked very dodgy, but since the most of the flat of the catwalk is cantilevered over the beam, it's sort of centered on the X cross frame. So it doesn't quite look as dodgy as it did from the ground shot or the lower angle shots.
Oh, is that sitting in amongst the X-frame, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it straddles it. And the beam is just to the closer face of those H-beams.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Look at that from the front. I actually didn't notice that detail. Of course, you can't see under it, can you? Oh, that's a little down there. Is that it down there? The little bracket they put on? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just the flanges are bolted to each other.
Cool. Some nice, front on photos this week. Now, I think the other photo was better for the further down photo too, actually. We've got photos for down the bottom. So down the bottom, we can see a lot clearer this week. We have a similar system. So I just got up. I'm trying not to burp on stream. We have a similar. We have a similar system here for the aft flaps. Now, I was kind of thinking that's too close together for the aft flaps, but if we quickly go and have a quick look at 39.1, it has those flap brackets, and they're a lot closer together than I remember. So this, to me, that looks new compared to older versions. So they've changed things on the ship. So we're guessing that this is all part of structural integrity testing.
The flap stand-in they used, analog they used when it was in the can crusher, in the super crusher over that white beam by the inventory tent down at the front. I don't know if you remember it.
Yeah, it's here. Hang on, I've got a good photo of it.
there's one of the weeks, perhaps it was this week as well. This one would probably help show. They have a similar profile. There's two mount points that sort of mirror that end.
Oh, I'm 39.1.
Yeah, we need more of a top-down shot. Because I think one of those is essentially a pivot, and one of them is the, what would that be? Used to call them horns on remote controls.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of those points is fixed, and the other one, it gets driven.
Is that the center line of the hinge through there, I'm imagining?
Yeah.
Cool.
I think it's more complicated mechanisms than it looks on casual observation.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm an idiot. The 3 Rams, 2 on one, and now you have me calling them Rams. The 3 actuators, 2 on one side, 1 on the other. You can induce torque a moment force across the flap surface.
Yep. On any of the pairs of 3, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you push on that one and say pull on that one, you can start to try and twist the actual flap. Yep.
And if you have one on the opposite side of the other 2.
So I say this every week that they're getting things closer and closer to being ready for ship 39 to roll out. And of course, we're under the belief, let's just quickly go over here because they all relate to each other, that they're going to bring it out on this structural integrity stand, we're going to call it now, instead of a static bias stand, because it's definitely no longer a static bias stand.
In this instance, I think 3009 might come out on the hot fire stand, unfortunately.
You think so?
Just if the state of the hot fire stand with the SPMTs underneath it looks, as we're squirreling all over the place today. But you're right, it is very related.
Just because something appears to be that way at SpaceX, you know the rule with SpaceX. Never assume anything.
Some of us enjoy crow.
Yeah, it's true. That is true, that's for sure. Yeah, I do it all the time myself, don't worry. Now, we did have a good... So, sort of that's that for the actual static bias stand here. I don't think there was anything else in the area to indicate anything else.
The bunker, the propellant lines coming away from the bunker is a potential shielding that those L brackets.
Yes, so it's a good seems how we go because there's a couple of things we need to jump backwards and forwards to Sanchez here. So maybe this shot's a bit better. Yeah, this shot's a bit better. So we'll just quickly look at this. So here we've got a narrow and a wider one and a narrower one here. So we'll just jump back over to Sanchez because we can. Where are we? Let me give me a second. This one will do. Will it? Yeah, this one will do. So we have these pieces here we saw last week that seem to mirror that size. And then over here we have a new one this week, which seems to mirror that larger size I just pointed out to you. To y'all. So we say to yous instead of y'all. Now, where is another shot of that? This one. There's another shot this angle. It's a bit... No, not that one. Give me a second. It's one of the. This one's better. Yeah, so that piece there could go here. So there must be this little piece missing in here, which
Or it
actually
goes
you were thinking with these other pieces, weren't you?
potentially, yeah. And then if we go between the power bunker and the inventory area at Massey's, some of the pieces are already migrated there.
Hang on, over here.
Yeah, by the power bunker.
And there's some more. That's right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there's some of the missing in the fillers and additional support, the columns for support.
So that protects that part of the bunker. Now I can already hear the questions coming through chat. What about the rest of the pipework around the frame near the QD? We'll be asking, what about all this pipework? I mean, they can only protect so much, can't they?
Yeah, at some point you're going to cut your losses, and
it would be nice to protect a certain amount, like close to the bunker, because you don't want something sort of running away through these holes. Like even if you come out to here, say, in protection, I think would help a lot with things further downstream or upstream, you might say, but downstream of a incident.
right. And how the energy is going to react being funneled through those tunnels is also a interesting problem.
All little tiny bits and pieces all sort of coming together. So I think you were the only one who actually picked up on those shapes through the show and tell. So that's not a bad idea, that. Now over here, just quickly on our way past. So I think I can see a couple little changes here. Maybe a vent here. Not a lot of difference here. I was sort of imagining maybe it's something to do with starting the system up.
I'm kind of wondering as if they're using that larger pipe, for lack of a better word, on the left, down below that tank, between the high pressure and the skid with the pumps. Yeah, that if they're pumping water into the COPVs and then just using gas pressure further downstream, so that if they do pop it, you're not going to have as much energy.
Oh, the COPV testing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it does seem to be heading that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I want to map out how those pumps are set up. I haven't done that yet because in some ways water would be a usually proof stuff with hydraulic.
There is a flow. I did notice there is a flow through here, through a manifold here, then into here, and then it goes sort of into this tank and back again, and then back into here again. There is a circuit in there for sure. I haven't mapped it out properly either. It's been a minute too since I've done that.
And there's also quite a bit of moisture over there from when we've seen them set up for testing.
I think they're already using water, is it right?
Yeah, I have suspicions.
So would they be filling in with water at the build site for now, perhaps?
I mean, generally, when you're doing tanks and stuff, you'll put them in a tank of water, fill them with water, and then pressurize them.
Cool.
But yeah, it's doing high pressure proof testing is fairly well understood.
Yeah, sure. Like I keep saying, many things around Starbase, it's nothing. They're not really reinventing the wheel in a lot of places. They're using well-known things from other industries.
It's how you string them together. Or the magic
Yeah.
happens.
Exactly. Yep. Okay, and the Lox Farm. It's easy to blur week from week, but anyway, now we see 4 LOX pumps. That might have been the case last week.
Was it only 3 last week?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you even I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
And this week they have the valves set up the other way around.
Okay.
So the bypass is closed and the pump circuit's open again.
Opposite. Now the pump is closed. The old lines are pumps are, because we can see through right there.
Last week they had them back to
Right.
I keep swapping them every week. Oh dear.
I think it depends what they're testing.
Sure, yeah.
Because I don't think they've commissioned the new LOX pumps for what their proof tests are doing.
So when it's an open circle on top, it means that valve's shut underneath. When it's a closed plate on top, it means that valve's open underneath.
Correct.
And these give you a good indicator, visual indication, quite easily that you can tell which way the valve's set for testing and safety purposes.
People love physical lockouts.
Yeah. As an electrician, I can well and truly understand that. As a retired electrician, I should say. Okay, we'll go to, we've mentioned 39.1 before. This week, I seem to be working on something, and because it's steel, it could be a fix for the ship-in steel, or it could be something they might be reconfiguring the hardware to test the tank somehow. So, which is a sort of weird shapes.
I believe this is where they're assembling stuff that they're putting on the can crusher. I think this is their fabrication area for that.
Not so much for this.
No, it's the OG can crusher, where this is probably moving.
I see.
Like the arms and stuff they're adding, or they added.
To this one?
No, the lower one, the can crusher.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get those two. Sorry, I'm sorry. I get those two mixed up all the time. This one, well, it's a good segue over to here. Then we'll go over here now. So here we're adding. Yeah, they've added some more hardware. I think we saw that last week, but last week it wasn't quite so clear. But yeah, this week's a lot clearer. And they've been modifying the rods, so the height is getting changed. Which suggests really 39. So I thought they'd put 39.1 in this tank, in this crusher next.
From the angles of those actuators, it really, in the heights, it really has ship vibes, at least to me. And there's that middle of that back column. There's a silver square on the square. Yeah, it looks like they're prepping that potentially for something else to be welded there.
Yep, that does usually indicate that some hydraulics been added. So, okay, we'll have a little crow contest here. So 39.1 one in this stand and the new 18.3 in this stand, or you're going to go 39.1 on this stand and not sure about this stand yet?
I mean, we both could be wrong, and they could put a switch, flip them, and they both could visit those stands.
Exactly. Then we both get to eat crow together. Aw.
Wait, Josh,
I plead the fifth.
come on now.
I
Be
guess he
brave.
doesn't like crow as much as you do, Alex.
I'm gonna take 5 minutes and try not to talk. It'll be hilarious. And force Josh to indulge.
Okay, over here they've removed the where are they? Over here they've removed the clamp arms from the super crusher and those little triangle pieces that were not weren't symmetrical from around the edges down in here. You can see a lot of the actuators have been removed and there's still a couple in here. We can see, notice like here, there's some spots where the actuators have been removed. So they're reconfiguring this stand completely. They're doing a few things to this stand already. They removed, or in the process of removing, the mounts for those angled pairs of rams. They've removed the mounts for the 5 other rams too, haven't they? The 5 vertical rams. And they've removed the brackets for the rams that offer that twisting force as well, which is curious. So it's how to reconfigure for the Super Crusher. That's sort of why I'm leaning towards 39.1 in here, because they're totally reconfiguring it.
Yeah, that makes sense. If they're doing such an extensive reconfigure, they'd be going to a ship test instead of another booster.
Yeah, that's my theory, but like you can never really say for sure, of course.
There's potentially extensions for the columns as well.
Yeah, it's sitting down here, yeah. Okay, what have we missed? Did we? Okay. The wigs keep getting blurred on me. There's a second vertical tank. I think that might have been mentioned last week. So I might just switch over to questions and donations. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. The first one comes from PayPal, actually, from Robert Tobin. Sent $70. So that was very nice. It came in just after the flyover, so that was some flyover help funds, which was pretty awesome of you guys this week. We had a lot of people send in for that, so that was very much appreciated. As far as other donations for this stream, we have 3 total. We have Joe Coyote Man sending $5 super chat saying let's do this. Sharpie also with a $5 super chat saying ditto. And Yazata with a $5 super chat saying okay, I'm in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and then over to questions. We've got just a few of those also. First question's from Stephen Lewis, wondering, does SpaceX own the road to Massey's?
No.
I believe that's the Parks and Wildlife owns that.
It's U.S. government.
Well, that's not Massey's Way, is it? No. I don't know what that photo's doing here. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. The next one's from Skylight Studios, asking, what are staging pads 1 and 2 in the new expansion plan?
Hang on. Give me a sec. Hang on one sec. I'll just bring that image up. I have it right here on my fingertips. There it is. This is going on Sasako just because we're jumping around. Why not? Staging pad 1 and staging pad 2.
Yep.
It's a good question. And already we have a staging pad here. Well, that's what we're calling that anyway. But I guess it's where they're going to stage vehicles. They wouldn't be able to stage a vehicle here, but well, a launch is on, would they?
For submittals for 39A, they're calling staging pads, potentially landing pads, and potentially catch towers would be added, but we haven't seen any very detailed submittals about this site.
So you got to remember, this is just a mud map here, so this is not necessarily the final layout.
I mean, they're both in pretty good locations if they were for catch only.
True, yep, as they're coming in from whichever way they're coming in over here.
As they get more and more launch trajectories, their approach will be all over the place.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see them as they get more and more adventurous with their flight paths. Catch towers, yeah, it is interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure about catch towers over here at Starbase yet, but yeah, that's a good thought. Thanks, Alex.
All right, the next question is from Topical Fish. What needs to change on the ship cryo stand for S39 cryo from S39.1?
If we zoom into the round thrust section that they pulled out as a super crusher stuff, we can use the ship. I mean the booster. They've already started removing a lot of the additional rams that they had for. That's unfortunate. When they're doing the thrust sim, they're primarily just pushing up on the thrust puck. Contrasting when they're doing their validations, they're hitting it from multiple different angles to simulate the thrust vectoring and all sorts of other forces that they'd experience, but it's sort of, you don't really need to test all the time. It's kind of the difference between running a crash test on a car versus test drive out to make sure everything works.
Underneath, there's a few different actuators on different angles inside here that they're going to maybe, because this is structural integrity testing, so that's for the actual stand. The station, I'm sure they meant the station or the stand there, the stand or the station. The stand, yeah, it's a little bit more configuration to bring it back the way it was. They reconfigured it for this test, didn't they, Alex?
They did, and they've reconfigured it twice actually since from the V2 ship thrust sim.
So probably a bit of reconfiguration back to an actual cryo, just for a thrust puck testing stand. And the actual station, well, still doesn't have the SQD at the moment. It's got a temporary plate at the moment.
I mean, that could come pre-assembled and be up and running in a day or two.
Yeah, and they run the cryo lines to it and everything, yeah. So the stand, yeah, just needs a little bit of the QD work. I mean the station, yeah, and the stand, yeah, reconfiguring back to the test stand. Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, and our last question comes from AVGNBR Kids, asking, is the B18.3 aft section still there, or has it been scrapped?
It's gone. Oh, well, it's almost gone. Hang on. There's a tiny remnant left. Where is it? Let's see which image is it in. Hang on. Oh, nearly. It's one of the... Oh, there it is. There's the... That's all that's left of the bottom of booster 18.3. Just one little tiny bit of transfer tube. Otherwise, it's completely been scrapped without a trace. Disappeared without a trace. Okay, cool. Well, no more questions at Sanchez. I mean, at Massey's. Let's move over to Sanchez, where we've already had a bit of spoiler. So we'll start here anyway, because there's a couple other interesting things in here. Well, there's these things from the ASU site. So they kind of had these fitted and they unfitted them, and then I think BJ was saying that they've added some framework under where these go, so maybe they need a bit of slight adjustment.
And the markings on it looks like they're cut and adjusted their sizes slightly.
In here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Well, they've all got a bit of that on, yeah. Okay. So maybe these are ready to go back, is what you're saying?
Quite possibly, yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, ship transport stand. So this booster transport stand is now, just for a week or two, this has been looking like it's ready and waiting for SBMTs to come and grab it and bring the other booster transport stand that booster 17, is it, sitting on? So just quickly go over to there, since we're doing a jumping around sort of day on that, because over there they have a crane set up and it appears they're going to lift 17's aft off that transport stand. It'll go over to the transport stand area to be retrofitted to version 3 booster and the new mounting system. Shadow over here came over just to pick up the Whipple tree and take it, Whipple tree, and take it over here for the Tadano crane. The Tada crane. There's sort of 3 iterations of booster transport stands right here in front of you there. That's pretty cool. A version 1/2 and a version 2 and a version 3. Oh, that's not where I wanted to go. I want to go back over here. So this ship transport stand, they're working on it. It looks like they're putting some of the internal workings in it, whatever that entails. And so that's the third one. And the second one, they're already putting clamps in. So those ship stands are coming along nicely. So there's one completed, one almost completed, and one well and truly on its way to being completed. Okay, well, we're here. The factory stands. We've seen these Z arms around a bit. They're kind of like Zs. And this week we see it put together. And we had a great debate in the show and tell whether this is for ship or booster, but it appears it's for a dome on this side, because the structure itself sort of negates the idea a dome could go on the other side. So to me it looks like a ship, but as illustrious Zach also pointed out that this looks similar to the downcomer size of a booster, so it could be booster related. But
if you go to 18's aft
18's aft, yeah,
and look at the angle of your Z struts.
1 second. We have a close-up, I'm sure. Where are you? This one will do.
If you
Yeah.
zoom in and you look at the angles of the methane lines, especially the lower ones that are just peeking out from underneath for the center 10 or the middle 10.
The theory here is this outer ring. We'll just take this outer ring for a second, and this silver ring in here could perhaps. Oh, sorry, that
I don't
ring.
believe it's for a ring. I believe it's a fixture for assembling all of this pipework before they made it to the puck.
Yeah, my point there is it kind of relates to the height of that, and compared to the height of that, we can sort of see that you can sort of imagine all the plumbing and perhaps the bottom of the downcomer sitting on here, and then they can make it a jig to mount all that plumbing, like Alex is saying. There it is. That's a photo I was looking for. I have this nifty habit of hiding photos. So what I was sort of trying to say is that the outer ring of that jig and then the inner ring of that jig at those two different heights to allow this to set up to some kind of jig to set up all this plumbing here, which I think was the more likely of all the scenarios. Thank you, Alex, for reminding me of that.
Yeah. But mine is definitely the minority opinion.
Yeah, I don't know about that'll all come to light very soon. That's fine. And then there's this new stand happening with these pieces, which have been all over the place, but they seem to have consolidated. Oh, sorry, just jumping back to this stand. Sorry, the thing that made a lot of people think ship ring barrel section here, especially the forward dome, as a forward dome jig, because of this notch on the outside, seems to line up with the landing tank plumbing that comes down the side of the ship. You can see a couple of them here. So, but I'm not sure. Maybe there's something in the booster.
What's that small white ring right on the bottom? Is that do the little jut outs there to line up with the parts coming into that inner ring on that big one? Could that be like a cap piece that goes with that stand?
I think it's just another one of these. That inner ring might not even be attached, that might be just a stand to hold this ring in place. It's actually more likely that it's just not, Josh. I think it's just another one of these for another stand.
Now that you zoom in, you see it's two different pieces. I think that's what it is. It's just a second piece for that, or a second one of those for another stand.
Yeah, there's more of these Z beams around. They're a bit where are they? They're a bit further along that side of of Sanchez. Let me quickly look for the photo there. Same in this image, they're just a bit further along here. Just here. Now, give me a sec. Just jump to a zoomed out photo. There's some more over here. In there, there's heaps more of them.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. If I just relax and stop rushing, I usually find the photo. How's it go? Deep breath, Stephanie. Plus, okay, so that's all those stands. And there's this new sort of stand happening, which means interesting to see how that ends up being shaped. While we're here talking about this, now last week we had an epiphany that this was going to bolt onto the top of the clamp arms for this stand at Massey's, but then they went and removed all the clamp arms. So Not saying that destroyed my idea, but when they could just be reconfiguring it somehow and put these clamp arms back in, or maybe there's another set of these to go back in to adapt to this ring. But anywho, for now that idea's gone out the window a little tiny bit. Okay, just zooming out quickly. The power building.
I have a question.
Sure.
If they're templates like Alex is saying, how many templates do you think what we would need? Because we see the extra legs and stuff, but there looks like there's more than just one more template coming out of all of those legs. Is there a rough idea of how many templates they might want?
I mean, at some point for the foreseeable future, the site's going to have to be producing vehicles for Florida as well. I mean, they haven't even broke ground on Star Factory at Roberts Road yet.
And then even once that is built, I would imagine some of the internal fit out stuff would come from here, given all the know-how and experience of building it's based here, unless they send them all over to Florida for a while.
Which is probably what they would do, because that's what they did when they were building the bays and the factory over there too.
But to be the contrarian, all the skids for the tank form were coming from Florida, and the ridge for 39A's flame deflector was built here.
Indicating that both sides are well trained and know what they're doing.
Well,
it doesn't matter, right?
They're specialized in locations, is my point. If they built all the skids for B or for Pad B and Massey's in Florida and shipped them, they kept all the GSC engineering who were doing that work in Florida. And then the folks that built the flame deflector, they seem to be concentrated either up at McGregor or here.
But even for the cadence here to build boosters here, I would imagine you'd need more than one anyway in the factory. Like they may have 3 different booster ups in various stages of, because that's quite a complicated, part of the booster. There's so much going on there with all that plumbing. Like they may need more than one stand. Just have 3 of these in a row in that being in various stages of what the assembly. Hope that
And we
answers
see
you.
at least, it does, thank you. Just real quick, we see at least 3 of them being made. One for sure, and then 2 others are the big round white ones to the left of what we saw where they had the original. Yeah. The 2 sitting on the left of that would indicate maybe 2 more are coming.
These are completely different. There's heaps of these around. We've seen maybe a dozen of these built now, if not more.
Yeah. I see that. Sorry. My bad. Thank you.
No worries. Anytime, Indy. And welcome to the stream, Indy. It's awesome to see you in here.
Thank you.
Now, that's not the photo I want. That's not the droid I'm looking for. This one will do. We saw the Transformers last week. Looks like they're getting ready to put another set of 4 mega packs in here, Tesla packs in here. Gee, there might have been room for another set over here again. So in the interim, these may help on launch day to keep the ASU running, but our good friend on the ground, Dave Avery, assures us that they're going to run a new set of power lines out, or underground power lines, whatever, out specifically for the ASU moving forward, because they don't quite have enough power at the moment still.
The ASU should be a more or less constant draw with very little variation. So it's sitting on its own lines.
And more than likely it would be some kind of guaranteed supply too, I'd imagine.
I mean, if you have all of these megapacks, that would help buffer a little bit.
Yeah, so they may even bring the I was going to say maybe they'll bring the new ASU power into here as well on its way to the launch site. Anyhow, it's just kind of a minor thing. So moving to this breakover, not breakover, could be a breakover, might not be a breakover, could be anything else, like what we call it, ibuprofen. We've got some sort of legs attached this week, and maybe upside down. I don't know that yet. We can see now finally why this funny angle was there, because they had to bring these actuator or whatever hinge points out on this angle. So seem to have either hinge point and an actuator attachment point, or vice versa, or maybe both actuator points. Could be upside down, but if these were legs and was upside down, it kind of makes these actuator points a bit confusing.
From
Everybody,
go on.
I was going to say everybody in chat's yelling break over.
It's the sort of the recent meme. Everything's a breakover.
Those 4 leg appendages. What about it had a flyover the day before, and it was clear on the ground that those did not look like legs. They were
They're
sitting
kind
on
of small, aren't they?
They're sitting on those pallets, and yeah, there's more going on than just 4 pads. Yeah.
I thought they were like if something was to be on top here and it sort of went one way then the other way, it was like the bottom stop, like where they rest, where they sort of where they land, or where it comes to rest, whatever's on this, maybe come to rest onto those legs. Oh, there's the bike, which could even be this frame. Where's that frame over there? Does this photo show it? Oh, it does. This might even be something to do with this frame. So this frame, it may have something to do with it too. Now, there's a much better photo there. We'll go over there because there's some interesting stuff over there. Just give me a sec. I haven't got my photos properly sorted this week. I didn't do my homework. Let me see. That one's a more straight on shot. I thought there was a much closer photo. This one will do anyway for now. There is a closer shot somewhere. These are all sort of interesting as well. All this stuff. So I could have, this photo, here it is, here is it? This one, there we go. So there's all these parts here which could have something to do with all this as well. Still, don't know about the blowers. I think the blowers are just sitting there for somewhere to be. And these parts here look like some kind of gusset for some of this square section steel. So that may all tie in together yet.
As well as the larger pieces. Look like they're missing their square tubes.
Oh, in here, yeah. So yeah, these look like they can accept square tubes, yeah. RHS. What's going on here? So this stand's getting some. So this stand's been to the launch site and back twice now to have, integration testing to the tower, and it's come back and they've got a totalizer station in here, and they've been working on it. So there's another stack of them, actually. So they've been working on this stand and adjusting things. So it looks like they've even, before they put a booster on it, they've worked out it needs iteration already, which is good. That's part of what they do at SpaceX. Okay, Sanchez in here. We'll go over to the other side of this little area. We mentioned, so the first ship stand looks completed. Ship transport stand version 3 looks completed. This week they're adding bits and pieces. They've still got to put the ring around the top. They've taken the legs out. The temporary legs.
They've trimmed them, 2 of them at least.
And trimmed them. So there's another bit of 50-50 whether this stand or whether the other hot fire stand is going to be what takes 39 out to the test station first. So all that flap testing and squeeze testing, it wouldn't matter either stand. Could go on either stand. I just figure while the engines are off, they might want to use this stand for some kind of integral testing with the center rams here. Okay, now the actual, I think they're in the next folder for the for the hot fire stand, for this little area down here. What else at Sanchez have I not covered? I think that's pretty well it. So we'll go on to questions while we're thinking about that for a minute. Thanks, Matt.
Well, we only have one question, and I'm not 100% sure what they meant by it. I asked for clarification, but never got it. I'm thinking it might be for Massey's also. But the question is it possible as they add new tanks, they will go down the line of existing tanks and realign the tanks to remove the wasted space, and maybe replace some of them?
Tanks.
Right.
Well, in a ship, there's no wasted space between tanks there. There's just a common dome. There's the payload section, which, well, needs to be as it is because it's a payload section. The other tanks...
I mean, I think they mean in the tank farm at Massey's.
Let's see. Wasted space between tanks. Let me just quickly jump back there.
That's why I asked for clarification, because I wasn't 100% sure what they were trying to get at.
Well, a few of us are hoping they get rid of this whole nitrogen tank farm and redo that whole system, but for now, that system is as it is. I mean, they could create some space in here, I guess, but there's no room to create any space in there.
Remove the original pumps. Their signs are potentially adding another structure pad where that Tadano crane is sitting.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, there's some marks on the ground here. There's potentially another stand going here. I know, we always miss something, I know. Oh, here's one. I'm just going to jump. Sorry, we seem to be jumping around a bit this show, but that's okay. We can do that. It's carrying over from the Tuesday show. In here, there's some marks in here that sort of indicate that they're going to put another one of these sort of pads in here. This happens when we're script writing sometimes. We'll okay a script, we'll get voiceover, then we'll go back and go, oh, we've got that. So we have to put a little insert in, which is kind of fun. Thanks, Matt.
Absolutely. And we've got just a couple of donations also. Todd in Cabo sent 200 Mexican pesos, so we really appreciate that. And then our legend, Bama in Italy, sent another 20 gifted memberships, which he has been doing basically every stream. Just unreal. We really appreciate you, buddy.
It's a question about the launch site tank farm, I think Yazada said. We haven't quite got there. So if that's correct, just ask that question again when we get to the tank farm, to the launch site. So what Alex was alluding to before about this hot fire, I mean, that's whatever you want to call it, hot fire stand, steak fire stand. They've not only put the SPMTs under it, but they've also put the work platform up underneath. So it's basically ready for a rollout. And they've stopped working on it, so that looks like it's ready to roll out, which does sort of indicate more that it's going to be for that. So maybe the other stand wasn't ready in time, and they really, I mean, neither's Massey's though. That's curious, interesting why they're doing it that way around, but anyway, that's the way it is.
They have to validate the GSC equipment for that stand, so. And
But
39, the ship doesn't appear that it's passed all its validation yet.
yeah, 39's got a bit to go, doesn't it, before it even gets engines on yet?
Josh, do you have any opinions?
No? Okay.
He
Seem to have
doesn't wanna
lost
eat
Josh for a
crow.
sec.
Cricket sounds.
Yeah. Wait, Jake's here?
Okay. Okay, ready to move on to the Gigabay now? The Gigabay. Just to quote Family Guy a little bit there. We all love quoting that show for this Gigabay. So they're pouring concrete on the floors. I believe they're up to pouring concrete on the second set of, floors. It's sort of interesting talking about floors here because they're sort of like double. So down here we can see some concrete already. Down here we can see over here there's not concrete, but there is rebar. So they're up to about here. But this, I just read through Twitter or one of the Discord servers that they're actually pouring concrete on the second level now. And actually, as of overnight, where is that? They're also starting on the fourth level. Where is that? Oh, seemed to have closed it. Hang on. Just quickly jump over to Avid Space. And we can see here that they've actually started on level 4. Now they won't be lifting the cranes until level 4 is somewhat completed, because level 4 is where the next set of crane support brackets are at. It's already almost as high as the Gigabays, isn't it? Wow. Okay, back to our photos. So that's the development of the Gigabay. Not a lot to report there. At the front, they poured the concrete out the front. Last week we saw rebar work getting completed. So now they've got the concrete done. And looks like they've been cutting their expansion joints. Control joints, whatever you want to call them. They help to control where the cracking happens. Nice bit of concrete. So that's a bit of a turnout for what we think for vehicles. It might be anyway, but I personally think it's for giving the SPMTs more room to come in and out. Now, around the back, there's not a lot going on around the back. I suppose we should address the ships. Ship 40 has now got that's second LOX barrel section. It's A3 section. So it's only got the aft section to go, but in the interim, next thing that happens will be the transfer tube jig, which Ryan Weber assures me is currently sitting in the factory aisle ready to come out with its transfer tubes. So very soon, sort of this week, we should see the transfer tube jig come in and install the transfer tubes, and then the aft still has to come out. So it's advancing well. I hadn't heard any news about Booster 40 this week. Any news there? I must have a look around. I'm not sure where Booster 40 is up to this week, whether they've had another barrel section or not. Its LOX tank must be all but just about ready to be finished. Okay, now I can run around the back. The back's over this side. Not much around the back going on this week. A few deliveries, not much going on around there at all. So we move on to the apartment. The build site's going to be fairly quick this week. Onto the apartment building. There's a little bit more work going on in the little Zen garden here and there, not much. The building itself, they've got some more of this roof insulation laid down. They've got some more of this front panel laid down. I noticed in this render, I think this is a visual they're going for. It's almost like this part of the building looks like it's popping out from sort of this part. It's kind of interesting, a little bit of architecture here. Or there's like a band going around the outside of the building. Even here, it's like an inset in here. Then over here, it's like this part of the building literally pops out of this part of the building. It's kind of cool. We can see down, actually in the renders, it looks quite exaggerated in the renders. In real life, they're not quite that fat, these side bits. They worked out last week, these are still going to be balconies by the look of it. We can see in this render here, the balcony's there and another balcony over there. Not saying renders are always accurate, but quite often they are. So that's about it for that building. The front site, where are you? At the front, they've got rid of that bit of concrete in here. Oh, there's a better shot. And they're still just levelling the site up, getting ready for the next step. And over at the recreation area, they've put in a new BMX pump track. This photo shows, no, one of these. Yeah, this one here shows it. So there's a BMX pump track, which is kind of cool. How the physics of that's kind of interesting. How they can gain some kinetic energy by using your muscles without pedaling. And over here looks like a skate bowl going in as well. So a bit of fun there for the kiddos. Kind of wraps up the build site, I think. So any last questions for the build site? Take that as a no. I'm still online, aren't I? Can you still hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Cool. Waffling off over here on my own. Now last week we saw this getting dug up. It's still being dug up. Guess it's for actually over the last few weeks. They're doing some more of it in here. So we noticed that when this was getting built, in this front corner down the base was where a like electrical, sort of like a plant room is going in. So I'm sort of imagining they're sort of getting services ready for that. They're down in, where are we? Down that corner down there. Well, if there's no more questions there, we'll scoot over to the launch site. Well, we're a little bit early this week, but that doesn't matter. I'm sure we'll get heaps of questions over here at the launch site.
Sorry, I had to walk away for a minute. Did you catch the couple of questions?
No, thank you.
All right, let's see. Oh, actually, we don't have any. Just kind of random assertions and stuff, so we are actually clear.
I'm guessing this garden they're talking about?
Yes, yes, I believe so.
I'm not sure.
August, wasn't it?
It
Yeah,
was
there
in
was some
the
paper.
document.
Yeah, I have a
that's-
document. I don't have that document on hand. There is a document about completion date. Yeah, it was August.
Completion date of 8/31/2026.
Thank you, Josh. Good on you. Let's go.
Yep.
Starting to get those sort of things all more organised. Okay, launch site. Oh, was that all? That was all, wasn't it? For the build site? Cool.
Yep.
I'd say next, if it's going to support, vertical vehicles, we're going to see quite a bit of groundwork, maybe even some pile work, yeah?
They're not very heavy.
But they've got to be able to handle a bit of, what do you call it, shear load?
Moment force.
Yeah, that'll do, like in the wind.
The vast majority of none of the factory has piles under it.
The rocket garden, yeah, that's true, actually. Just as I said that, I sort of remembered that. These don't have piles under it at all. But, I mean, these days they're doing more piles, so who knows? The vast majority of a lot of this doesn't have, the old stuff doesn't have piles, but the vast majority of everything new does have lots of piles. Alrighty. Sorry.
One of the submittals for Slick 37 has a preliminary geotechnical report, and it is quite enlightening for as far as how their ground support work is being done, as far as piles and fill and compaction.
Is it similar to here?
Yeah, it's pretty much all identical, or very close to identical. There's some site-specific differences, but wind load is wind load.
Yeah, sure. So lessons were learnt from the whole Pad A system.
Well, Pad A wasn't really referenced. That's sort of like an oops.
There was a few oopsies, wasn't there, at Pad A? Like the vertical tanks and a few different things. And the bottom of the underneath the OLM, but I still maintain they used Launch 1 to dig the footings for the new for the new Delhi system.
I mean, if that potentially caused substantial damage to the foundation of both the tower and the OLM, but
Okay, let's start with groundwork here. Boy, lots and lots and lots of trucks have been coming and going, and they've been slowly filling over the top of sand, then some kind of sand, then geotex, then some kind of dirt on top. And then up to sort of here on this sort of area. They seem to be going sort of slowly in this little area. I mean, they've finally made a track through here, so trucks can now do a circuit. Well, they just still seem to be, on one of the photos shows, they still seem to be bringing empty trucks out this way.
in this image, they're doing proper compaction. which I believe this is more or less listed as that staging pad area.
Yeah, where have I got that open still? Oh, it's over there.
Yeah, because if you this cyan, you can see the
Oh,
Yeah.
in this mountain map, that's a straight line. In reality, it's not quite straight yet.
well, it
This
is.
seems to be a different sort of dirt too, sort of darker.
They're digging up the existing, what was there, and then they're going to start to do proper compaction.
Just quite quickly on this little area, we have we've got pictures of where they're bringing the dirt from. The dirt. So this image? No, hang on. Watch me not find it now. One of these photos. I must have it in the wrong folder. I apologise. Oh, there it is. There is it. Yeah. This appears to be the site where they're getting it from. Now, where is that exactly?
The new Massey's. It's pretty much across from the batch plant and the connector road, the port connector road.
Okay, that's that site. Where can we see that? Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Event Dude's actually made a labeled map of the area. Let me grab it for you real quick.
Must be the road in.
Put it. It's in live comms.
Awesome, thank you.
No problem.
Oh, that map. Yeah, I've got that map somewhere. Let me just bring it over quickly. One second. There, we'll have it here in a sec. All right. It'll be here. Okay. Oh, this map. I haven't seen this one. Okay. Where are we? Is this one here? Is that what they're saying?
Yes, that's the one.
Right near Rocket Ranch. So we saw this one a while ago, and that's okay. This is a different image. We saw that one a while ago, but it seems to be coming from over here. Cool. It's always been a question as to where soil comes from, so that sort of answers that question. Okay, so yeah, they're getting there with all the soil. It still looks like quite a bit still to go. This little area in here, it's still to go. A little bit around the edges and so on, and then perhaps this, another layer on top again, as we're seeing started here.
They're digging down.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They're digging down underneath this layer. Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to dig that up, and then they're going to bring graded fill in, which probably from those two sites they don't seem to have any screens, so it'll probably come from a different location.
Yep. So those locations are probably more about just the bulk. So the bulk fill for all this. Alrighty, let's head over to pad 1. Pad 2, So this week, pad 2, we can see they've pretty well got the roof section, main steel, all bolted together. Bolted/welded? Bolted. There's been a lot of welding going on. And this week, with all the parts laid out, we can start to piece together pieces like this piece to go on here, and its back long piece mirrors this triangle piece over here to fill in there. A couple of smaller triangles for in these areas. I mean, narrower triangles, more acute triangles. They're acuter. And then some other panels to fit in between the different other various places. Oh, I can hear the magpies outside. It's just breaking dawn here in Australia. The magpies here start singing their song. It's quite cool. They call it caroling. They're caroling. We get to see the top. That's the old tower. So we saw a heap of steel coming that looks a lot like this steel we're seeing at pad 1. So it could be more steel for the top of, for pad 2 here. We saw some more steel come that looks like the stuff here at pad 2, which could be stuff for the pad 1 roof, perhaps. Let's try and see. We've got a photo here of the top of the tower, I thought. That doesn't matter. So that's the top of the tower. About half an hour to kill, Alex. Over here, that's still some of the cladding, which could be for the top of the tower side of the top of the tower cladding, and some more handrails here. Let's try and find that top photo quickly. That's what I'll do in the interim. So up here, they've been doing work on the sides of these beams here, and there could be some cladding up here on the sides. So on top, so there's lots more. We have got a photo. Give me a second to find it. There's heaps more cladding. Heaps more gusset work going on up there. Just give me a second. Doublers, yeah, that'll do. This photo will have to do for now. So I can see a big one here. We saw them at the base of the tower last week, so they're being. So one of those pieces you spotted last week had that notch in it there.
Yeah,
That's
I
one of
pointed
those
out
pieces
where
up
that
there.
one would go. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this week we can see them in here and over here.
We're having a bunch of questions come in about what's the purpose of adding another layer on top, if you guys want to go into that.
Up here on the tower?
Yeah, they're wondering why do they need a whole nother level? Why wouldn't they just cover it with the sheeting the way it is?
The existing structure is designed for supporting the tower and its loading. The center diamond, it's to break the span between the columns, where if you follow the lattice up, that's an intersect where you have 1, 2, 3, 4. You have the side loads being transferred, so that's to stabilize and break the span. What they're doing is the plate is, since presumably their concern is direct plume interaction. So they're designing, since you don't know where the plume would necessarily hit, you have to design the whole surface to be able to experience that transient load. So it has to be strong enough to anywhere on that surface transfer it to the vertical load paths down below. So if you just covered this structure with steel, it would more than likely over time get damaged, since none of the existing structure is designed for transferring those types of loads. And then from this view, you can see some of the added plates that are on the lower beam. on the edge where there's where they're going to be welding presumably those plates at the base to fill in this wall. And from the way it's being enforced, it looks like those plates are essentially hanging, if that, for lack of a better, from the upper beam, just from the way all the doublers and have been, where they're adding everywhere. I mean, it's more obvious at the top, and from the web between the H beam, the two flanges, they've put reinforcement plates where right under each of the tabs, above each of the tabs that they're presumably going to be welding those wall segments to, that haven't been added yet to the lower structure.
But we can see all the parts for that in here.
Yeah, a lot of sounds of they're being added to the underside.
Underneath, under these, like underneath as well.
Yeah, the other side, yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at the upper left, right corner, you have two of these. You can, no, the big plate they added, the gusset plate. There's two of them stacked below it. So presumably one of them is going to go to the underside of this, and the other one is probably reinforcing the lower corner.
Yeah. So we're wondering where those, I didn't realise, we didn't see this in Chantal, we're wondering where these plates were heading. We see them down in here, but I didn't notice them up here, so there's something up in here.
That's probably, they're going to be welded on. Those are probably the, where they're going to be bolting the two structures together.
Yeah, and will the new structure, will it transfer the load down onto the legs particularly?
Yeah, it should be transferring primarily to the leg. Part of it'll go down the diagonal, but that quickly gets transferred into the columns.
Columns, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that one where your hand's in its in tension. That column, it's
So from last week, we noticed they removed the window washer frames up the top to allow this whole frame to sit on top. In here, these little, these are curious little ones, just out of curiousness. They seem to have a 3D shape to them, and I presume it's because they go down into this beam a little bit.
Yeah, they're just like they did to the face, where they they're filling in. You always sort of do that when you're transferring the loads into those flanges to keep them from twisting.
Yep, keep the flex at bay. Can't have too much flex. A little bit of flex, I guess, for strength, but yeah, you don't. Yeah, what you said.
Yeah, I mean, you can see the existing, where you have the diagonals intersect. Yeah, they're right. Yep.
And even over this side, I think they're existing.
Those are just unistruts for when they had some piping previously.
Of course, yep. Thank you, yep.
And
you can see here this was made in multiple parts. Oh, there's that notch piece specifically you said last week. Specifically. Okay, so that's the top. Yeah, lots of reinforcement, and so I see a question is why there's nothing flammable up here. So what exactly is it protecting, do you think, Alex?
One, you don't want the plume cooking your crown block and all your guides for the drawworks. I mean,
Sure, in here.
the only thing that's that crown block is a single point of failure. If that ever failed, the chopsticks are going down and everything that they're supporting.
That would be a bad day.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all of the load of the chopsticks is being supported by off that top block. So yeah, that is mission critical for the entire towers you can get.
So why they hadn't done it on Tower 1 yet was Tower 1 and whole pad 1 sort of was more proof of concept, and this whole pad 2 is more about endurance and being to move forward, so they don't have to make things last a lot longer, pull up more launches. So it's sort of more permanent design rather than just proof of concept design.
It's also the angle that the booster was coming in for the catches versus how the ship appears is going to cross over the top of the tower while it's doing the flip maneuver.
Because yeah, even like 1 or 2 or 3 engines still creates quite the plume to contend with. Yeah.
I mean, a very naive way of looking at it, it's the weight of the vehicle, however much force they're applying into the vehicle to spin it and to slow it down, is being transferred by that the gas coming out, and it's hasn't really slowed down much. And then you're also bringing that plume to a complete stop, so you're having a hypersonic flow. So it's going from, I don't know, probably 4 or 5,000, pick your unit of choice, to a complete stop. That causes a substantial amount of pressure in and of itself. I mean,
Someone said, I wonder if the workers slide down the cables like firemen when the elevators are too busy. That'd be, no. Alrighty. Oh, yeah, a bit of a, so they put a guardrail around the outside, but it's kind of humorous because, I mean, gee, there's so many places you could fall in here, and the guardrail seems like, I don't know, kind of seems useless in a way.
isn't that existing guardrails that's been there from when they built it?
There seems to be more down here. Oh, I didn't quite see it, there seems to be more of it down here. I guess that'll have to come off when they put the top deck on, of course.
Yeah, because I think you can see on the lower corners where one of the supports was welded that they cut. So I'm pretty sure all that railing was existing.
I'll have to go back and check that out. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I mean, there used to be there's a stairs coming up, and that whole cantilever had the grating on it.
Yeah. So actually, yeah, that was another thing we saw with the new. We'll come back to that in a sec. Where the old staircase is, and now where the new staircase is going to be. You can see on the ground photo. One sec. That'll do. We can see here there's a gap there for the new staircase. You could ride the chopsticks down if you want to. Yeah, I suppose you could. Alrighty, cool. Any pad 1 specific questions, Matt, while we're here?
Nothing for pad 1.
I mean, pad 2, sorry. I'll get that right. I promise I'll get that right.
Yeah, so Joe Coyote Man was asking, will that new roof assembly help strengthen the pulley block up there for the chopsticks?
It shouldn't. The pulley block is hanging from that middle. There's a very large beam that it's sitting directly on top of the column.
That one,
Yeah, and it extends back and is tied back to the back column.
Yeah, I would imagine they built all that in with the first iteration.
Yeah,
It's more about protection than strength there.
yeah.
Absolutely. All right, and S. Murphy asks, can you tell what they're doing on top of OLM-2 after the massive deluge test?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we just went over that quite in detail. It was nothing to do with the deluge test.
Sorry about
No,
that.
so-
I've been having kids coming out in and out, so I didn't notice. My bad.
No, the OLM, I don't think we've touched on anything on the OLM.
Oh, the OLM, sorry.
Yes, the OLM after the deluge.
Man, sorry. I apologise. What is wrong with my brain today? All right, cool. What's going on? I don't think it's to do with the deluge test, huh? What's going on here?
I'd imagine
They,
they're probably just finishing up some last little bits and stuff, probably.
I keep hoping they're grinding away. It looks like they've removed part of one of the covers of
Under there, maybe.
right.
So I see a heat mat cable coming up, going down into. Where is it going down into? Down into there somewhere. Not sure what that's about.
Well,
And they've set up scaffolding here just to get into here.
to get anywhere on that. We're all to FireX, and I'm using FireX generic because I know that people like to try and differentiate between FireX and the detonation suppression. We haven't seen any of that in because it's covered with the scaffolding and work platforms. How any of that piping has been attached, or if they have all the nozzles installed, or any of that. So it could be a whole host of things are happening for those systems underneath.
But that's more than likely not necessarily as a result of the deluge test per se.
How much of it's been able to be fully installed with all the scaffolding? Because you can start removing if you're winding things down and finishing up things that may or may not have been blocked or by the support structure, the temporary support structures.
Cool.
Yeah, because
There's,
like, for
sorry.
example, if you looking at ground shots in the dumpsters, there's so much of electrical systems that have been ripped out and naively redone. So it's all par for the course. That some of the stuff is temporarily, and we see it all over the site, be it concrete inside the tank farm, where things are temporarily installed to facilitate other aspects, and then it's going back to be put into the final configuration.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which happens in a lot of construction sites, not just here.
It's common. It's how you do it. You're not going to put down finished concrete if you know you have 2 years of construction traffic going over it, for example.
Yeah. I saw that with concrete just in this area, just over here, actually, didn't we? Over here.
Yeah, I mean, some of that when you're rolling your $10+ million vehicle, putting down 80 grand versus the concrete is not that. It's sort of a rounding error in the scheme of things.
Yeah, of course. And we were discussing on Show and Tell how it's a bit of an adventure here to get up here, come up this staircase, and then through here, then up around this little staircase, and then out here, and then come back around here. It's a bit like doing a level in a video game, perhaps. try and find your way all the way up here and then get back down again underneath here. It's kind of cool. I'd love to do that little walk one day. I doubt that's going to happen. So yeah, the OLM, yeah, it's looking really nice. Being cleared up, it looks really cool being cleared up. In fact, some of these shots, except for a couple of vehicles, this whole site's starting to look really nice and tidy. This week, so the BQDs are back out again. This week we saw them actually move the SQD system here a little bit. So it appears maybe a lot of the wiring, or some of the wiring at least, has been finalised up in here to start things actually moving, which is another good good milestone for them to achieve. And every week I think it's still going to be more than 2 weeks before launch, so I'm not sure how long before the next launch. It'll be a while. I guess we're going to get that question asked numerous times in chat.
I got a couple more for you too, if you like.
Sure.
Todd in Cabo is wondering if they have a safety built in so there's no free fall ability of the chopsticks.
Like an elevator.
Not likely.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we saw any sort of brake systems in the actual skates.
It's supported strictly by the crown block.
Yeah. The whole, like the drawworks is, I mean, it would have, it's more likely got a runaway braking system. Should the power failure, the brakes would lock on rather than they would default to being locked on. So other than that, no, if they had a cable brake, yeah, that would be a bad day. But once again, this is not new tech. It's something that's been utilised a lot in the past, although not necessarily this close to a rocket engine. So that is one of the few differences to other industries when it comes to rockets. But yeah, I don't think so.
Gotcha. And the next one's from Brian Aries asking, will they have a water suppression system that sprays on the booster or ship after catching in the middle of the tower like what appeared on Tower 1 after the first catch?
The monitor that was never used on Tower 1. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Alex.
I mean, if presumably there will be.
We haven't seen one yet, though, have we?
Haven't. Ground photos would be the only way to, and there's from the air you really wouldn't.
So not visibly yet, but yeah, like Alex said, presumably there'll be something.
Cool. I also want to remind everyone in chat that if you want your question asked, you need to put exclamation point Q beforehand, not Q only or Q exclamation point. That's not exactly how the system works. So if you want me to be able to see it, you have to put exclamation point Q first. Luckily, I did see one that is from Nicholas Dornan. He asks, could it be possible that SpaceX is doing a bigger comm antenna on top of the OLIT 2, starting from the deepest first top plate through the next two top decks?
Radio waves don't like going through thick plates of steel.
Very true on that one.
I wonder if they mean the actual tower will start from the bottom plate and go up through the top plate to give it more stability or something. But I mean, so Alex, you're thinking, I think you're correct, that this the top what do you want to call it, the roof structure is going to sit directly down on this, so there won't be like a gap between the two.
Right.
And I think the question is that could they put a tower, say, from this height up here down through to that height to give it some more stability? I don't think that's necessary. I mean, we did see that issue with one of the launches on OLM1, I mean on Tower 1, where they broke something, and it might have been a cause for that aborted booster catch or not. So maybe, I don't know, no, I don't think so, but they will definitely have a fairly strong tower up there. They may put the communications on the side of the tower. They might not need a tower up there. I guess we're expecting a weather station though, because per catch, they really want instantaneous wind conditions at the tower rather than anywhere else.
They don't have any in any of the FAA docs indication that they're putting any additional height onto these towers. This tower. So
Okay, so no.
adding a 30-meter or a 10-meter aerial for a weather station wouldn't be in the cards.
The weather station wouldn't need to be so high, I'd imagine.
Then you'd have to model how the wind is interacting with the tower. There's sighting guidelines of how the heights you mount things are strictly to remove obstruction, polluting your data.
True.
So yeah, just hanging a weather vane off the side of it wouldn't really tell you what the actual winds are doing.
So probably not a tall mast. I imagine there's going to be some kind of weather station there, though, but we'll see.
I mean, they moved most of that to that tower by the triangular building.
Okay. Is that where it is? Okay, cool.
Yeah, they used to have one. They had the 30-meter one above your favorite power building. And then I think this is probably 30-meter, they added.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Absolutely. And we have one more from Later YT asking, could SpaceX actually skip the S-39 puck test and just perform the cryo and flap/squeeze test on the static fire area with the old static fire stand and perform the puck shuck with S-40?
Probably not. I mean, there's open debate whether part of the proof test they're doing cryogenic treatment for annealing and relieving weld stresses in the vehicles versus when they're doing their thrust simulation. Potentially, if they could do what would appear to be one of their cryo tests before they do the squeeze, and then the whole thing would probably roll back and come back out when the original thrust sim stand is available again. But with a brand new vehicle, not doing a thrust sim is on your freshly rebuilt static fire pad is just tempting the gods for
In a
bad
bad way.
Yeah. But yeah, in this stuff, closer to the edge by the blast wall, they're starting to bring in the heavier gravel and doing the proper compacting fill.
Here?
Yeah, right. You can see some of the geotech, and then now further up and just to your right, there's that's the heavier or the coarser gravel that they're putting in to fill in that area.
Specifically for this area, or in the whole area?
For this, if you're where they're putting actual load, they're compacting it significantly different than they're doing on just a general where there's just going to be paths or roadways or a solid surface.
Is there a pump in? Where's the pump? Is there a pump there somewhere? Is there?
Yeah, because
There's a few lines going in here.
yeah, they probably haven't really started pumping. They just put the lines out for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if we can see it in this flyover, but a lot of the ground photos, you can see they're bringing in sand and they're bringing in gravel for that square rhombus or next to Tower 1 in the dunes. Yeah, where that excavator is working, and that whole section they're going to dig out and do proper soil compaction.
Cool. Quite the geoengineering going on. Okay, thank you, Matt. So just curiously, with that question mark, with that exclamation mark Q, does it? I noticed someone like Brian has put a full stop after the Q. Does that affect the bot?
No, it just has to be exclamation point Q.
Okay.
But you can put anything behind it. Like if you wanted to put exclamation point question, you can type that out or anything. It's just specifically filtering things to see exclamation point Q.
Did
All
we
right,
already?
cool.
I'll ask offline. That's dreadful
Okay,
software engineering.
Sure. We'll move on from the actual. Have we finished for OLM2 questions?
Yeah, that's all the questions we have right now.
Awesome.
Actually, I did want to say Drew Nar has given 2 $5 super chats Canadian. This one says, think they'll get the expansion infill finished and covered before booster static fire deluge washes it away?
Nope.
I don't think it'll wash it away.
Yeah. And the other one just said, huge thanks to the RGV crew for all the work and analysis.
It is our pleasure. I feel kind of chuffed that I get to do this as well with Zach and Alex and other commentators like Josh and that. I think I'm very lucky to be able to do this and I very much enjoy it. Can't believe I'm still doing it, to be honest, some days. Okay, so the rest of the deluge farm, it seemed to have worked fine. They don't, since the big deluge test, they don't seem to be working on anything specifically, so I kind of take that as a positive sign that the water deluge system worked quite well. Maybe there's a couple of little software changes, maybe with the timing of things they might do otherwise, but the hardware seems to have handled it quite well. Pretty impressive, really, that deluge test, I must say. Now, did we cover that last week? We did or not? No, we didn't, did we?
No, the test was after the last live show. Well, last normal show. I think it might have been. I don't know if it was before or after the in between the expanded show, but
let me bring up the Abbott Space one, which was the best one, I think. I'm allowed to show. Yeah, this one. So yeah, just speaking of deluge test, it was quite the test. You see it comes right over here. It's quite amazing, actually, just how far it went and how much water happened. Almost looks like this guy. I can see it's right over to the thicker part of the wall. Wow, geez. Boy, it does come close to the road. I reckon it might have even got the road. I think there's the one of the lab cameras over here got some water on its lens even.
Yeah, it did. Rover 3 it got quite soaked. Once that top deck turned on, it quickly turned into nothing but water in view until it subsided.
A couple of different vents there. The venting for when they actually for the for the water pressure system. Later on, we'll see the other venting there for the gas generation system.
I just put the tweet from Avid in LiveCom that has the Rover 3 view.
Your words aren't working either properly. So things to note here, Alex, was that it didn't quite. It's sort of like a lot more in this area than other areas, which is to do with the launch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
from
the way
Rover
the
3, you can really see that a good bit of it straddles the sides of the tower, or at least the top deck does.
Let's bring that one over. Well, we have noise and everything. Wow, this is up close. I hadn't actually seen this footage yet. Wow, that's a lot of water. You can see here it misses the tower in here. And then, yeah, R3 gets a little bit damp. Sheesh, all the bushes and that moving. The shrubbery. That's a pretty awesome view, actually. So, a nice big water test. Thanks. We'll shout out to Abbott Space, previously known as La Padre, for this bit of video footage. Oh, the lens is completely soaked.
Yeah,
Very
iPhone
good.
Mod has a question, wondering where's the water shoot out of at the water tank farm when they do the deluge activation?
At the water deluge farm.
Be those, I would imagine it's those two weir pipes right there, like it was on pad 1.
So just before, yeah, they charge the thing up, then they bleed the weir. You see some sort of water and fumes coming out here. And then when they finish the deluge, they open these again to relieve the pressure in the tanks. And then later on, you'll see another vent over here to relieve the pressure in the actual gas generation system.
The stacks next to the valve manifolds is the main one you see venting. That one's
That's the weir, yeah?
that's the weir. And then next to where, if you look at the overhead of those of the deluge, that the orange
Oh, yeah, that's it.
yeah,
Sorry, they relieve it here, yeah.
those are where they're relieving the gas. And those
Sorry,
are
my
venting
mistake.
but the bulk of the time.
So, yeah, my mistake. Yeah, actually, yeah, sorry. I had that a little bit wrong there. Sorry. Yep, correct.
And
We do get this. Oh, here they go here. This venting here. As the thing winds down, this venting here.
I think so.
Yeah, my mistake. It's coming from this area.
And from the bottom of the 6 tanks there as well.
Yeah, so first here, then deluge plate, then here, then lastly over here.
We rarely see the ones between the tanks. The bulk of venting we're seeing are from those 3 areas. As soon as gas generators are on, those areas are venting.
Till the system sort of fills up properly, then I can shut these and let pressure pulley go. I mean, let the water pulley go under pressure.
Right, but until they want the water to flow, you're just going to be exhausting the gas gen.
Yep.
Through those. So if you want to see before it starts up, if you had a camera watching that area, as that plume intensifies, it's like, okay, it's going to start.
I see. Is that what's going on there? There's like a second plume there, isn't there? It's actually the wheeze. Just somewhere here I noticed there's another. There's another little plume. There's like two separate plumes there.
Those are I think the two different weirds.
Oh, okay, yeah. One and the other. Cool. Actually, we're on this photo here. There's a couple of things to look at here. So that was a question on the water deluge. Thank you. That reminded us to actually play the water deluge footage. So whoever asked that question, thank you very much for that reminder. And look at that. Here I am worrying about filling in time, and it's already time, so that's good. Happens every time. So is there any more questions for pad 2 there, Matt?
Nope.
Cool. So while we're here, we check out the crane. Crane's missing a few parts. I think it's all up onto maintenance. The two main winches are still there. I thought there was a third winch here, but that's where the engine is apparently. And there's a winch under here, as far as I know. So all the main a lot of that boom and the heel and everything's up to get some maintenance done on it. I'm not sure how much more of this is going to get maintained. Apparently it's going to get pretty well stripped and maintained to get some maintenance done. Looks rather bare without its boom and everything. All its weight trays and stuff. And over here we saw a tank arrive through the week. It appears they're putting a collection tank underground here. Looks like they've marked out the spot here for it. It's more than likely the reason that they've kept this concrete bare for now until they get this thing installed. So it's not necessarily going to be a septic tank with an outlet. It's going to be more like a collection tank, as far as I understand. Is that a big truckload of cladding? Is that clad? Oh, it's conduit. Okay, cool. So instead of having above ground the old black sort of tanks we've seen in the past for the amenities, it's going to be an underground tank. In fact, does this photo show it? No, not quite. There's even one of those black tanks on this building. Okay, and while we're here, we've got the methane pump has been reinstalled, and they seem to have one of the basket strainers opened up. See, there's another shot of that side of that farm. Just looking quickly through here. Oh, that doesn't matter. In here, so that's I'm hopefully going to see this reconnected soon. Now they've moved the SQDs, so maybe more of the SQDs ready for actual testing in the very near future. A little baby crane here servicing that basket strainer. What was new here? What was that? Oh, the actual pump sleeve. The actual pump. Okay, let's move on to the rest of the tank farm. There's the black tanks I was talking about. They're the above ground ones. So instead on this new building, it's going to be an underground one. Not a great deal going on with the tank farm. Although funny thing this week, Alex, is the filling of methane here. Does this mean they're filling this frost line here? Does this mean they're filling this tank as well? And these two tanks? Oh, maybe not those two. There's no frost there. But this one tank has frost going to it. And they're filling right now because there's a methane tank is over here.
Since it's frosty, past south of its actuator, it's being filled.
Yep.
The big gray, just to the right of your hand, about a third. If you right there, yeah. I
Yep.
believe that's one for that line, but from this angle I can't tell.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But
only
the
seems to
other,
go.
the part of the vapor recovery line is also frosted, so yeah, that one's definitely has fluid in it.
And this one here, so it goes over that tank. This one here doesn't seem to have anything going to it, nor does this one here. So I'm not sure why, or whatever. For some reason, it's still filling this one tank. Maybe, hopefully, the
Filling
rest
all
of the.
them tank. They're probably
I
all
think
being
all of them.
Yeah, I mean, until the other tanks are plumbed in for the flow rates, they're not gonna be able to launch unless they have enough outlets coming from the tanks. I mean, there's two things going on. There's the volume, and then there's the volumetric flow that they want to get from each of the tanks. And the faster your flow rate, you'll get friction and heating. So, dead simple, just to add more, keep your flow velocity down.
Something I missed last week. They've started to hook these tanks up, but
For a
it looks
couple weeks.
still. Yeah, it looks like a lot like last week. Though I don't seem to have added much yet this week.
They've added quite a bit. They've started adding the vent lines. They've interconnected the skids. 2 of the tanks have their outlets, as well as their inlet, and 4 have their. Actually, all 4 have their fill lines and the start of their pressure building hooked up.
Got
2
this
of them
crane
have
here to help it.
vents. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, they've done quite a bit for hooking these up.
Cool. Just a few more skids here for 3 more tanks. So we're getting rid of the old. Is this it? The old pile driller, and they're bringing a new one in, as far as I know.
Haven't seen the new one yet. It was a jet grout rig that showed up Thursday.
Was there always that gap in the concrete wall right there by the 2 rib tanks?
Yeah, that's where the 2 additional bulk storage tanks used to be.
That's right.
Oh, did that wall go around them as well, did it?
Yeah, that's one of the requirements for National Fire Code.
Yeah.
That they weren't in compliance with the vertical tanks. There was no super secret Texas Railroad. The Texas Railroad was just bringing in the National Fire Code.
Some of the old plumbing here still. Oh, that was for the cryo stand, was it here?
Yep.
So I've started to disassemble one of these big excavators. So it's 2 boom sections and bits and pieces. What else down this area, just quickly while we're here, they've removed one of the HVAC units from here.
Most of them.
And I guess this is a temporary system, I guess, while they're working on it.
I think that was their part of it.
Okay, cool. Still left this tiny bit of wall here. I'm not sure if that's going to be part of the new system or what, but they haven't got rid of that wall yet. Okay.
Yeah.
On our tower one, okay, there's a bit of work going on over here. You can see they've continued their sheet piling. Now I think we've worked out why they leave one long. It's so they can thread the next one down, I think, with the crane before they start hammering it with the hammer.
You're driving them in at a similar rate so that they don't drift. You won't be able to the little tracks that they're connected to. That's part of the reason they drive them, pull them up, drive them, pull them up, and it seems crazy, but it's all you're essentially driving a playing card into the surface, so you're constantly tweaking it anytime it starts drifting. Because I mean, these are, and it's funny because those are just there primarily to keep the site dry when they're excavating.
It's almost like lost formwork, isn't it?
They can pull them out, but unless they tie them back. But it looks like at 37 they're using soil mixing in lieu of sheet piles, sort of like what they did with the they drilled at Massey's. They did a similar where they're keeps the site dry.
Keep the water aqua out.
Yeah.
So heaps of sheep. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Heaps of more sheet piles around to go in. I'm just going to try and swing around this photo, maybe around this side. So this the new baby one came in.
Yep.
They're doing here just a test fire, are they?
Yeah. Set it up. Make sure it's all working.
So the thought maybe this could do because it's on a there's a slope here. Maybe the little one could do the shallow areas while the big one's doing the deeper areas.
If they're doing it, it's a bottom plug, and they're driving 60-foot sheet piles around the perimeter, and that they'll probably be studding that plug from, I don't know, 45, 50 feet to 55 or 60. There'll probably be a 10-foot thick soil mix plugs that they're at the bottom as the sheet piles to keep the water out. So no, it's not that they're drilling equal distance all the way around the bottom of it. It's not ramping up.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep, okay, yeah. Fair enough.
I mean, whether or not they're going to do tiebacks or not, whether or not they're going to do mixing other areas. The existing tower foundation with the new excavation and dewatering can cause settlement issues. So there's lots of interesting execution that's going to be happening.
Cool. Oh, that's not pad one. That's not pad one either. Okay, so that's pad one pretty well much.
Yeah.
Hey, with ASU, not a great deal to talk about. Things are sort of advancing as we expect. A bit of groundwork around the outside getting completed. The secondary pumps were here last week. Didn't get a really good picture of them though.
Booster.
This week, booster pumps, compressors.
Compressors. booster air compressors, the backs.
Which we can see on the ASU site in town, actually, but they're, where's a photo of that? Thought we had a photo of that.
There is. There's two. There's one of them from a slightly different angle that you can actually see the heat exchanger section's cold box. And I don't know if the Lind is using a crossover box like this one is.
I can't get a different folder. Ah, it seems to be eluding me, sorry. Anyway.
It was in the others. I don't know if you.
Just give me a second here. No, I seem to have misplaced it. I'm kind of good at that. Oh, no, I'm not worried about it. We'll look at that on Tuesday. Dang it. All right, now further over, there's a fair bit of work being done as well. Just bear with me for a sec. Maybe I'll put them in, no, not in this folder. I hate it when that happens, when photos disappear on me. Quite annoying. Just give me a second here to find the rest of this ASU site even. Thank you for your patience when I'm messing around with photos. Like this. Hey, there you go, see? Clear as day. What's going on? Why can't I find it? Here we go. Pesky photos. There's still a lot more electrical conduit work at this end going on. Bit more conduit work at this end as well. We saw a lot of this last week. Of course, it's been filled in, ready for the water circuits, for the intercoolers.
Cooling
Here
towers.
amongst it. And the towers.
No, the cooling towers.
Ah, cooling tower. These things, cooling towers. You mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me just find that photo quick. Won't be a second, I promise. Well, sure where that photo went. Just give me one more second here. I might be a sec. Let's find it. Oh, there it is. Okay, gotcha. Now I need to do something special here as well. Just quickly. There we go. So these are the cooling towers that we'll see on over on this area. We'll just see a lot more of them, hear them, because this site is, well, it's got twice as many. Where is it?
This is a 900 ton. Just about the one they're building at Starbase is around 900 tons of LOX a day.
This one only has one set of compressors.
I would not.
Seems to be a lot smaller too.
It is. It's that good compressor is substantially smaller as well. The TSA. You can look at the two TSA columns that we're staring at and compare them to the big beer kegs at the one they're building at Starbase.
These fellas here,
Yeah.
compared to, well, where's my mouse going? Compared to these ones, for instance.
Yeah.
That's the one indicator, yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Lynn's press release said what capacities they're building. What this one was. I'd have to look it up.
And this one has storage that's on site, but the one here at Starbase is likely to use the tank farm as storage, yeah?
I mean, there's going to be at least one Lynn tank cars. If there's two cars or both cars.
Yeah, both got 4 wheels.
Yeah. But
Cool.
I mean, that one's definitely collecting argon. I haven't seen on the plans whether or not this one's. It'd be silly if they're not, but because also at 900 tons a day, it's right on the cusp of being profitable to do exotic capture for like xenons and the more trace gases.
Is it visible to see the argon system in this system, or is it just something that's inbuilt in amongst it all? It's pretty hard to spot.
You'd look sounds like vertical, and if you really wanted to, you'd have to get down and dirty looking at tracing the pipe work. But they said it had argon.
Yep.
Until the until the distillation columns are plumbed in. Here, then it'll be obvious if they're collecting it. I mean, it'd be ridiculous not to.
Alrighty. So, any last questions? I think we're pretty well done for the show. So let's have some final questions and donations.
Yeah, we got 2 donations. One's from Joni013. She sent a $10 super chat saying, "Thanks for the great picks, info, and your fabulous opinions. Keep up the great work." And then we have Yazada with another $5 super chat saying, "Another nudge to get RGV to their goal." All right.
What is exotic capture, just quickly while we're here, Alex?
Like the xenons, the lower down, potentially neon, the very trace noble gases.
Like argon, for instance.
No, argon's not a trace. That's 1%. No,
Okay.
like your xenons and those, the ones that are parts per million. But then for those, there'd be a secondary tanks they'd capture, and you take that liquid as feedstock to a lab because you need fairly specialized equipment to distill it.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Matt. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in on you then.
No, you're good. Since we're at the ASU, Rex Johnson is asking, can the ASU be run off of mobile generators?
Large ones. The 2 blue drives for the main air compressors are 24 megawatts.
Which is huge.
And that's probably 60% of the draw that's going to be on site. So yeah, you're 30, 35. Well, it depends how efficient the turbo expanders are using for those compressors. You can recover a lot of the a pretty large fraction of your compression. But yeah, it's still going to be 25 to 30 megawatts of power. So a good sized gas turbine power station, a single.
And Kiwi Liam is standing with his wife and waiting for a train, and his wife would like to know, how fast can they produce fuel from the air? So basically, how much can the ASU produce?
It's around this one's around 900 tons a day. Forgot. So what was that 4 days, 4.5 days, to make enough locks to fill the stack.
So Alex, is that 900 tons of just LOX, or is that LOX and nitrogen?
The nitrogen you're essentially getting for intents and purposes, the nitrogen component you're getting for free.
So the 900 tons is just the liquid oxygen production amount, is it?
Yeah, that's
Okay,
generally
thanks.
how you size how the nameplate is.
Because there's like, what, 4 times as much nitrogen? 80 odd percent nitrogen, 20 odd percent, whatever, roughly, oxygen in our air.
Yeah. And there's other thermodynamic costs, but yeah, we won't go that deep into the weeds.
All right, the next question is from Crane Man, heading over to Pad A. He's wondering, why are there only 3 sheet piles next to the tower base at Pad A?
By
It's
the
right,
white tank.
yeah, right on the backside there.
Yeah,
Steph.
backside.
We'll have to see how they're adding the support and where they're digging for that. Because right now it looks, if I were to guess, it seems like they'd be digging along this face for the extension, the wraparound porch, or however we want to call. Where the drawworks.
Yeah, the annex. We'll call it the annex. Well, not that bit. Where is it? Where are you? Come on, photo, work on me. Here we go. This one will do. This bit, that bit. Which should be similar to 39A's tower, I guess.
And I glanced at chat. Capturing CO2 for the atmosphere, converting it to methane, and Earth's atmosphere is wildly inefficient. There's better food stocks for generating it.
For fuel, yeah, the question was about fuel before, about how much fuel can be produced
You
rather
can.
than.
There's no propellant. There's no there's only oxidizer. There's no methane. Methane's going to come from a natural gas pipeline.
Yeah, coming in. Yeah,
the liquid stage 4 generation is just part of the train for cleaning up, getting rid of the short chain hydrocarbons, the ethanes, and other, and some sulfurs, CO2. It's part of the cleanup process.
It's in the methane production, yeah.
Yeah, because normal natural gas has other hydrocarbons in it that really don't affect it. But for your rockets, you kind of want a bit cleaner. Yeah.
Oh, that's the methane side of things, I see.
Yeah. The ethanizer, it's a funny looking column that has a big bulb on top. There's one sitting at the across the way at the port.
Cool. Okay, thank you, Matt.
Yeah, and sticking with Pad A, Nicholas Dornan is asking about the concrete that goes around where the trench was, like basically where the edge is. Yep. Nope, down all the way at the bottom, the edge all the way around. He's wondering if they are going to be probably breaking that up and taking it out or not.
Yeah, definitely.
They're already doing that in other places. Where's a good photo over this area? I think they're... No, hang on, give me a sec. They're already doing that in areas down in here. That's pretty well gotten rid of. The concrete will stay for a little bit because that's part of the rules. They've got to have somewhere to stage things.
Yeah, but if you looked at that shot you just had, they have the cut mark, the red cut mark, sorry, for the demo on the conduits. It looks like they pulled the temp line that they had powering the tower. So yeah, that should probably, by next flyover, that should probably go bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, and the next one's from Crane Man again, wondering, so are they extending the tower base?
They, for the annex where the drawworks is sitting on, since they've already dug up the previous structures it was supporting, and they're flip-flopping, more than likely, where the drawworks is, so that whole area is probably going to be reworked to support it.
So the drawworks used to be on that side. Now they're going to bring it around this side.
Yeah.
Nice. And James Wilson is asking, will the Pad 1 trench and structure be exactly like Pad 2?
The trench will probably be closer to 39A. So it'll be sitting a little around a meter and change deeper than Pad 2's. But other than that, it should be fairly, whatever running changes they've made between the B's 39A and yeah, however, this one will probably be built before 37, so right they're going.
Well, there's also going to be the difference of the ones here at Pad 1, the staircase will be on the outside as opposed to the inside, but minor difference.
I mean, they might be able to move it in if they wanted to. Because they're going to have to move all the ship lines. Yeah, here's...
So Pad 2 at Starbase comes down on this line and stays on this line, and that's up just above grade. Whereas at 39A here, they've effectively pushed the trench further into the ground, and they've added this one layer of speed wall up the top here. Speed wall, speed form, whatever you call it.
Speed core.
Speed core. And obviously the trench is just slightly longer.
Yep.
That's the only real difference, yeah. And I mean, well, the towers are probably slightly different, but I guess the annex here will be similar to this annex.
Yeah. This one and one's all them are essentially the same.
Oh, it's got the same concrete base, yeah, of Tower 1 at Starbase.
Yeah, it's a height. They're
And the height,
both
yeah.
the same generation. The only...
But yeah, this one was getting built the same as Pad 1, and they pulled down the legs and changed it to this more modern design.
Well, yeah, it was when they weren't sure they were going to get approval for Boca, so they were gonna entertaining having to relocate everything to Florida.
Thank you, Matt.
Absolutely. Jeffrey Morrison is wondering over at the tank farm, is it even possible to fill these tanks fast enough to launch 2 or more starships per day?
Yes, you need a substantially larger ASU. Like Air Liquid is building I think a 9,000 ton one a little bit further up the coast for either Mobil or either Chevron or Exxon for a carbon capture hydrogen site. So yeah, in the scheme of things, its ASU is pedestrian.
And along those lines, Glenn F. Makeley is asking, what percentages of the various gases will be supplied by this site for the needs at Starbase?
This ASU capacity exceeds their approved launch cadence by 3 times, I think. But for most ASUs, above a certain, once you get a bit bigger than this, you'll just sort of drop down another one of a similar size, and that's how you horizontally scale them.
Cool. And then the last one heads over back to pad 2. And it's from Vetinari asking, will they lift the new roof onto Tower 2 with or without the cladding?
It's a good question. They've laid everything out, but they've also started welding on the lift clevises to the beams, and I'm not sure clearance-wise if it's not clear yet. The crane should have the capacity to lift it fully, and since the top doesn't look like they're ready for it, I would probably assume that they're welding them, because I believe some of the ground shots or the Rover 3 showed one of the cranes seemingly lifting plates onto it yesterday.
Hey, my guess is they're going to lift it on with the cladding in place. Hello, Cash. Cash is just adding his 2 cents worth there. That's Johnny Cash, the dog. Thank you, Matt.
All right, and the last thing is a new $10 super chat from JS Webb saying, thanks RGV for the amazing images week after week and all the hard work that goes into getting that amazing content out and putting on these shows. Great job.
Thank you, JS Webb. Yeah, I appreciate the thought, because yeah, it does take a bit to do all these shows and keep these things happening every week from week to week. So yeah, of course, we appreciate RGB aerial photography for coming up with the images to start with. That's probably where most of the work happens. Cash stop. But yeah, the production crew, including Matt and a few other key players there, and Alex and people like Josh and myself that come along week after week to present the shows. Yeah, it's a bit goes into that as well. So we appreciate the feedback as far as that's concerned. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and the stuff I just did message you something, so if you want to get that together and do that real quick, that would be cool.
What? Ah, it's like a puzzle.
Yeah, for those of you who like these kind of things, we've been doing this lately on our X account. So if you're not a follower, please go over, follow at RGV Aerial Photos. We'd appreciate it. We do enjoy playing this little game. Maybe Steph or Alex or even Josh can figure out where that picture was taken.
Let me see. 4.8 on a grey piece of something. I had no idea. I'm thinking maybe in this roof area. What's the colour? Is it at the launch site? Oh, it doesn't. We don't know which site it's even at. Oh my goodness. At Starbase in the sky. Good answers.
Could be at Rio West for all we know.
I know BJ solved it. He's been the only one that solved it so far.
Can we have a hint at which site it's at?
Well, it's not at Starbase. It's one of the first. It's one of the first sites that we do.
Ah, it's at the airport site. Let's see. Make a quick look.
Maybe.
Let me see here quickly. So I don't have those photos. I don't know why I don't have those photos.
Gwenever in the chat thinks it might be at Brownsville Runway.
It's not those sites. I don't seem to have all the images downloaded for some reason. Let's jump back into this folder here quickly. Just 1 second here.
While you're doing that, I just want to remind everybody to go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. We really appreciate it. It helps us reach more people with that YouTube algorithm. And go ahead and jump on over to Patreon. You can become a member and join us over on the Discord and be a part of our show and tells and our flyovers, as well as our Starbase Expanded that's coming up here in just a few days. We have a relatively new show that this coming week will be our 10th show. It is on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Central, called Starbase Expanded, where we go over a lot of the new things that we've gleaned ever since doing this specifically weekly show, anything that we missed and have figured out since then, as well as going over a bunch of the extra sites like Rio West and some of the other places, all the different support sites and areas. So if you guys are into that and want a little bit extra information, like what's going on at the RGV LNG plant, be sure to hit us up over there, and yeah, we'd appreciate it.
Found it. Haven't got the quite right angle. I'm not quite on the right photo. Let me see, which photo is it then? Must be maybe. The photo might be rotated too. I'll get on the right screen. There it is there. Okay, there you go. Solved.
Good find.
Starbase. Yeah. I don't know whether I'm on the right photo and they've just rotated the photo, or whether there might be a different photo with it rotated.
Yeah, that's a photo. You got it.
Cool. $45.99. All right. Well, that's a good little game you play. Very good. Oh, hang on. I'm on the wrong screen. Let's go back to this. No, not that screen. Let me go back to this screen. Alrighty, so no more questions. Anything else to say, Alex? Yourself?
Nope, I'm good.
And Josh? So I might just start signing off then. So thanks, Josh, for your time today. And we're going to get you more and more involved, I promise. And thank you, Alex, especially once again for your patience and all those things and all your knowledge with that. So thank you very much for today.
Yep.
And I'll let Matt sign out. So I'm Stephanie B. I appreciate being part of these shows and appreciate everybody, everyone's patience while we're fiddling around with images and so on and trying to work things out. So I really enjoy doing these shows. So looking forward to doing some more through the year. So thank you all for in chat there. I see there's a good number in chat today and in Discord. And so I'll say goodbye for this week and hand it over to Matt.
Yeah, very much appreciated. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We love seeing you there, and we love having all the feedback in the chat and all the questions coming in and everything. So with that, we'll be signing off, and we hope to see you on Tuesday. Most engines cut off. Hot staging confirmed. Love you. Bye.